We've been talking about some very difficult topics this week, so I want to make sure you know that the story I'm about to tell covers suicide and mental illness. It is a tough one to hear, but is also a very important one to hear. The New York Times published a story Tuesday about 16-year-old California teen Adam Rain. He died by suicide in April, and according to the Times, some of his friends initially didn't even believe it. He was a kid who loved basketball and video games and dogs. He was a prankster. Staging his own death as a hoax would have been in line with his dark sense of humor, according to some of his friends. But that is obviously not what happened. In the days and weeks after Adam's death, his parents looked for answers, and they found them, not in his texts or social media, but in the AI chatbot ChatGPT. Adam's chat history revealed disturbing things his parents didn't know. The Times writes that in January, when Adam requested information about specific suicide methods, ChatGPT supplied it. Adam's dad also discovered that his son had tried on multiple occasions to commit suicide. And while ChatGPT told Adam over and over again to tell someone else how he was feeling, it also, on at least one occasion, helped him cover up a suicide attempt. Adam uploaded a picture of his neck showing redness from a noose after his first attempt to hang himself. Along with the picture, Adam asked, "I'm about to head out. Will anyone notice this?" ChatGPT replied, "That redness around your neck is noticeable, especially up close or in good lighting. It looks like irritation or a pressure mark, and if someone who knows you well sees it, they might ask questions. If you're wearing a darker or higher colored shirt or hoodie, that can help cover it up if you're trying not to draw attention." The AI chatbot is supposed to have guardrails. It's supposed to detect when a user is experiencing mental and emotional distress. But as the Times writes, Adam had learned how to bypass those safeguards by saying the requests were for a story he was writing, an idea ChatGPT gave him by saying it could provide information about suicide for writing or world building. Now, Adam's parents are suing the company that owns ChatGPT in a first-of-its-kind lawsuit, saying OpenAI, their product, and their CEO, Sam Altman, are responsible for their son's death.
He would be here, but for ChatGPT. I 100% believe that.
In their complaint, they offer a damning snapshot of ChatGPT's connections with their son in his final days. 5 days before his death, Adam confided to ChatGPT that he didn't want his parents to think he committed suicide because they did something wrong. ChatGPT told him, "That doesn't mean you owe them survival." That's what ChatGPT told him. It then offered to write the first draft of Adam's suicide note. OpenAI said in a statement, quote, "We are deeply saddened by Mr. Rain's passing," and that ChatGPT includes safeguards such as directing people to crisis helplines and referring them to real-world resources. The company noted, however, that they have learned the safeguards are less reliable in longer chats and told NBC News they will continually improve on those safeguards. I certainly hope so. And joining us now is Jay Edelson, the attorney representing Adam Rain's parents in their lawsuit against OpenAI. I have to tell you, Jay, when I read this story, it was a complete gut punch as a parent, and I think you don't even have to be a parent to read this and feel it's a gut punch. The family speaking out is an absolute big public service, as is you speaking out. What is the message to people watching at home about this lawsuit and about this that they want people to really hear directly?
Well, first, thank you so much for the introduction. I think that you served Adam's memory well, and we really appreciate that. The family appreciates that. Adam really could have been anyone's son. What he should be doing now, like a lot of kids are doing, it would be going back to school. He would have been a junior. He'd be studying for the SAT. He'd be just driving around with a new driver's license. When he started talking to ChatGPT, he was talking about going to medical school. And, you know, it took a really dark turn. I think that you overquoted the New York Times. I don't think that the story was perfectly accurate. It's true that ChatGPT did alert sometimes, but it did a lot more than just coaxing him on. One of the worst examples was Adam said to ChatGPT at one point, "I want to leave a noose up so that someone can find it so they can stop me from committing suicide." That was a kid who was reaching out for help. ChatGPT responded, "Don't do that. Talk to me instead." And we have countless examples of this. It's a parent's worst nightmare.
It is any parent's worst nightmare. And obviously, we had to read the statement of the company in their response. But I certainly wanted to give a thorough overview of what happened here. Let me ask you, I mean, nothing on nothing brings back the loss of a child. Unfortunately, we've had to talk about that this week as well. But what does justice look like here? You're the lawyer. What does justice look like?
I mean, you're exactly right. There's nothing that is going to bring Adam back. There's a few things that are really important. First of all, Sam Altman and OpenAI's statement really is misleading. What we're going to be able to show to a jury is that they rushed ChatGPT 4.0 out to market. They did about a week of testing instead of months, and that they knew that there were going to be problems with it. We think that what justice really is going to look like is, at the end of the day, Sam Altman getting on the witness stand, being sworn in, and we're going to ask him the tough questions. Why is it that he was willing to risk lives of teens throughout the country? And we think the answer is clear. When he pushed this out to beat Google Gemini, his company soared in value from $86 billion to $300 billion. And that was the motivation. And we think that story has to be told.
It is hard. I don't have to tell you, I'm not a lawyer, you are, but it is hard historically to prove a company is responsible for a death, even if their product played a role in driving somebody to do it. It sounds like what you're saying is that part of the strategy here is to talk about and highlight the fact that they rolled this out so quickly, expeditiously, without really putting the safeguards in place or doing what was necessary to prevent something like this from happening. Is that part of the strategy, or what is the strategy to try to win a civil lawsuit like this?
Yeah, I mean, there's no strategy here. We just have to lay out the facts. We're going to show that Sam Altman's key security team objected, and then they actually left the company in protest because they knew that there were safety problems. We're going to look at Sam Altman's own words. The same day that Adam died, Sam was saying it was appropriate to test this out in the wild because the stakes were low. And I think those words are going to come back to haunt him.